Hey everyone, I'm Jo Muirhead and this is the Entrepreneurial Clinician Podcast. You can possibly hear me smiling or wincing or all the nerves in my voice as I record this at the very first TEC episode. And I must admit, I'm somewhere sitting in the intersection of very awkward, vulnerable, and super excited. Now, to be honest, this is an intersection that I'm familiar with. I've been here before, but it really doesn't get any easier. I've just learned how to use my resilience activators. So I've got my coffee, I've got a cup of water, and no doubt the puppy dogs that are with me at the moment are going to let themselves be known on this podcast. So I've started recording episodes, and I have to say, I actually love this medium. I didn't think I was going to love it as much as I am. So for those of you who have been asking me to create a podcast of my own, thank you. Thank you for your encouragement and for your inspiration. And you've been around my work for any length of time, you know that I create and produce a lot of free content. There are blogs and there are worksheets, and there's even a video series called This is Private Practice, which you can find on YouTube. And as much as I love speaking and have quite a lot to say, I also love progressing conversations. I love learning and I love sharing new ideas so that we can innovate. I do not for a minute think I've got all the answers to all the problems, that all the solutions to all the things that we need to know. But what I am frustrated by is I've been doing this work now for 30 years. And there feels like there's very limited progress in the way that we continue to do our work as health professionals. Yes, we have some amazing advances in technology and cures, but for those of us sitting in the community, helping people reclaim their lives after a massive health or significant health event, we kind of left picking up the pieces. And sometimes those pieces that we're picking up are ourselves. So I've been a rehabilitation counsellor. I went to rehabilitation counsellor school along with physical and physiotherapists and occupational therapists and speech pathologists. So I feel like I know this allied health world inside out, upside down, and three ways to Sunday. I've been doing this work for nearly 30 years. So interviewing and talking to people and facilitating conversations, that feels like it's my thing. It's my jam. I'm good at it. I love it. And I just find people fascinating. So some of the episodes of this podcast will be just me in all of my opinionated glory, and some episodes will be with other people. I am connected to health professionals from all over the world who are doing incredible things, and I actually want to share them with you because you are going to hear from people in this podcast that you don't know are doing amazing things in parts of the world that some of us fear to tread. Some episodes are going to be instructional with information and tactics that you can then go and implement. And some of them are going to be more like opinion pieces where we can continue the conversation over at the Future Proofing Health Professional Facebook group. Because being entrepreneurial for health professionals is about future-proofing us so that we can continue to do the work and help the people who need our help. Back in 2017, 2018, I wrote a book. And I published it called The Entrepreneurial Clinician. Now, this book was produced before pandemic or COVID-19 times. And back then, we were living in a time of burnout of epidemic proportions for health professionals. We were talking about it back then. Then the pandemic and the COVID-19 hit. And who was it who stepped up, stepped in, dug deep? It was us. It was the health professionals. People were working multiple shifts. People were working in the face of mortality. We didn't know what was going on, but we just knew that people were hurting, that people needed help. And that's what we do when people are hurting and they need help. We as health professionals, we stand up, we step in and we dig deep. But what we do know is that when burnout is not addressed, it's going to lead to ill health. It will make you sick. And when we are sick, we're not going to be able to work, or we may not be able to do the work the way that we want to be able to do it, or earn, or make the meaningful contributions to the world that we know we are called to make. So this is a really important conversation. And when we as humans lose our connection to our purpose, medical research that's been around for more than 20 years tells us that all kinds of bad things can occur, including higher mortality rates. I kid you not, when people are not connected to purpose, they die sooner. So I've been on this incredible planet now for 50 years, and I've lived through some stuff. I had not lived through a global pandemic. And I think most of you and most of the people listening to this podcast would agree that we won't be going back to the way things used to be. But we're not sure what the ways things should be now. It's as if we have a blank canvas in front of us. And that is terrifying for most health professionals who hate the idea of making a mistake. And it's with good reason. When we are working clinically, if we make a mistake, there can be some very serious consequences for the people we are treating and the people we are working with. So making a mistake, being fearful of failure is something that is going to be a consistent theme throughout this podcast and the episodes that I create. So creating this podcast is new for me. And I must admit, I don't like being new at something. I much prefer to have all the details sorted out and all the errors found before I release something into the world. I like to know that it's going to work. I like to know that it's going to be good. I like to know that people are going to be interested. And I like to know that it's going to be error-free, which some of you who have ever received any email or any written correspondence from me might find hilarious, because we all know that I'm the queen of the typo. But we all know that we can't live in a place of perfectionism. So this is me letting go of the need to have this perfect for fear of what my peers might say. So given that this is new and that I'm being very vulnerable in sharing my nervousness with you all, I ask that your comments be kind. And should you choose to join any of my communities, then please know I have a very high standard of respect. Now, this doesn't mean we can't disagree with each other. It means that we will do it in a way that is always respectful, even when we are learning about something that makes us uncomfortable. So it's my intention to release an episode a week. So get ready to subscribe, rate, and review, because the more people who can find this podcast, the more conversations we can have, the more solutions to the problems we are facing we can create. You know, things like how to build a high-performing health professional team, how to build creative, valuable, lucrative, multiple streams of income. What is marketing in this day and age? How do we do it in a way that's congruent with us being health professionals? Of course, there'll be discussions about burnout, what it is, what it isn't, why we need to be prepared for it. And one of the foundational things that I will constantly be talking about is mindset, because mindset is the building block of everything. How we think, what we think about. Man, I can't tell you enough how important mindset will be to you, your team, as you grow and develop, and to the world as we start to share our greatness. So I will be sharing insights and conversations from people all over the world who are passionate about things like continuing professional development, digital prescribing, working in some of the most conflicted parts of the world, and then some of the most remote parts of the world, and then next door to you and I. We are going to be learning from people who have been in this field for many, many years, and we want to listen to them because they have wisdom that we can't possibly have yet. And we will be learning from emerging leaders in our fields, those who are willing to ask why something has been done one way and then finding solutions to the new problems. Okay, now I'm just excited, and it's really time for me to have another coffee because that first one went down so fast. In case you're interested, my coffee of choice is a double macchiato and almond milk. Now, I've not practiced a polished sign-off yet. This is a part of me not being perfect. It's in the works. I actually expect that it will evolve naturally. So I will just say that I am grateful for you. I think this is going to be so much fun, and we are going to learn some great stuff. And we are going to work out together who we need to be to do what needs to be done to bring about the significant change we want to see in this world. So until next episode, this is Jo Muirhead. Go be your awesome self. Hey, Jo Muirhead here again. Thank you for watching this episode of the Entrepreneurial Clinician. It has been great to share guests, new information, and new ways of thinking with you. I trust that this episode today has inspired you, and has helped you to reconnect to your sense of purpose as a health professional and a clinician. Before we move on, just want to remind you that these sessions, these episodes, are provided for educational purposes only. Nothing in these episodes is designed to be treatment specific or a specific recommendation about your health, your wellness, or your finances for your situation specifically. If you need assistance in any of these areas, please reach out to an appropriate professional for you to be able to access the help that you need. If you have enjoyed these episodes and would like to see more, please subscribe to the YouTube channel and make sure you leave me a comment below. And I look forward to bringing you more great, inspiring stories where I get to learn just as much as you do. Until next time, go be your awesome self.